At some point, we all struggle with consistency. I'm going to share with you the four things that I've found really bring consistency when trying to build a new habit. These four things apply in all areas of life, and I've had them work for myself and I've seen them work for others. I have read a million books on habit change, and I'm telling you, it's really not that complicated. These four things are all that matters. The first thing is that you truly have to take on a new identity. You have to assume the identity of the person who does the thing that you want to do. Whatever this new habit is truly a part of who you are. How do you do that? You embody that energy. What does she think? How does she feel? What does she do? What does she think about her? And then you do that. If you want to be a person who eats healthy food, you've got to think, how does a person who eats healthfully think about food? What motivates her? What choices does she make? What does she say to herself when she looks in the mirror? You have to start being the person who already has the habit. Embodying this new identity isn't always easy. But if you're going to become the healthy friend, you've got to start thinking, moving, acting, behaving like the healthy friend. This can get deep because it doesn't always feel comfortable or authentic. Like last year, I started drinking less. I didn't want to be a person who drank just because the people around me were drinking alcohol. So I thought to myself, how would someone think who doesn't drink alcohol just because the people around them are? How does she feel when she's having a glass of sparkling water and everyone else at the table is having a glass of wine? How does she view herself? Well, she views herself as being independent, capable of making her own choices. She's not easily swayed by what other people are doing or thinking. She's not easily influenced. She owns her own power. She has control over her own life and her decisions. She sees herself as being fun and enthusiastic without needing a substance to make her that way. She also sees herself as a person whose tomorrow isn't negatively affected because of choices that she made today. She's also non judgmental. She doesn't care whether the people around her are drinking or not. She's just there for the fun. She's happy to be spending time with people she loves. She's focused on enjoying herself and being present in the moment. When you're practicing your new identity, some people may approach you not realizing that there's been a shift. They will still see you as the old you, and they will treat you as the old version of you. So you have to be tuned in to the new version of you and respond as the new version of you would, even if you don't quite feel like her yet. So in my case, if someone was like, Sierra, you're really not going to have a glass of this wine. It's delicious. I would say, no, thanks. I don't want any tonight. Thanks for offering. And I'd leave it at that. Said clearly, confidently, and directly, no one should push back against those boundaries. And if they do, you just hold tight. You don't owe anyone an explanation. That one, super important, the foundation for the rest. Secondly, decide what you're going to do and commit to it. Actually, fully decide. Like, this is specifically what I'm going to do, and I'm going to do it for at least this period of time. And we know that if we're truly going to change a habit, it shouldn't be, I'm going to do this for a week. Some say it takes 21 days. Some say it takes 35 days. Some say it takes longer than that. It really depends on what the habit is that you're trying to change. But you set a period of time that is at least 30 days to do your new habit. And once you've decided, you execute because you fully decided what it is that you're going to do and you're committed to it. What happens sometimes is that we say that we've decided something when we haven't truly decided. Because you see, when you have decided, there's no wiggle room. There is no, oh, I'm in my luteal phase and I don't feel like it this week or today, or this excuse, that excuse. Not when you've fully decided, because you don't have the energy or the emotional battery to decide every day. The Oxford Dictionary definition of decide is come to a resolution in the mind as a result of consideration. So when we've truly considered something, we've thought through the possibilities, what it'll feel like on a Tuesday, what it'll feel like when it's raining, what it'll feel like when we're on vacation, whatever it is to try this new habit. When we've come to a resolution of mind, there is no going back and forth. It's a done deal. We don't have the energy to decide every day, and we don't have the emotional stability to decide every day either. Some days you're not going to feel like doing it, and it doesn't matter what it is, but you still do it because you decided and you committed. Sometimes we think we've decided, but we're actually just wishing or hoping. So here's a way that you can see the difference. The key difference is thinking through the impact of your decision on different days in different situations and across different areas of your life. Like if I've decided I'm going to drink a gallon of water a day and I'm going to do that every day. If I travel often for work, I need to think about what does that look like on a day when I'm traveling. If I have days where I'm in and out of meetings and going from office to office, driving around, I've got to think about what does that look like? What steps do I need to take to support myself to be able to do this habit every single day? If it's something that I really want to do every single day. There will be times when you've fully decided something and you have a little slip up. Something you weren't expecting may happen, or you just for some reason miss a day. And that doesn't mean that you didn't fully decide. And we don't have to feel guilt if something like that happens. But because we're committed and we fully decided, if something happens one day, it's a done deal. It doesn't happen again. When things go wrong 2 days in a row, that's when you need to really think, did I decide to do this? If it's a habit that you're supposed to do every day. We don't question, OMG, did I make the wrong decision? Should I have not said that I was going to do this thing right now? Or maybe instead of, I said I was going to go to Pilates 4 days a week, but this week I only went 2 days. Maybe I need to change my goal. And instead of doing Pilates 4 days a week, I do Pilates 2 days a week and I go to the gym 2 days a week. No, like whatever you decided, you commit to it and stick with it. See it out for whatever period of time you committed to. Moving forward after a mistake is what commitment is. It's not that you never mess up. It's that you think through the possibilities for what could go wrong ahead of time. And knowing that you can't possibly think of every single thing when other things happen that throw a wrench in your plans, you keep moving forward. Here's the third thing. If you want a new habit, don't make that habit be a completely new rendition of a routine, and don't make that habit have to change your regular routines. So an example of that is if you want to start going to the gym 4 days a week, and right now you don't go at all. If right now you wake up at 7 a.m. to be to work at 8 a.m., go to the gym after work. Don't try to create multiple new habits at the same time, because a lot of people, what they'll do is they'll say, okay, I want to start going to the gym. I'm going to wake up at 5:30 a.m. Then I'm going to go to the gym. Then I'm going to get ready for work so that I can be at work at 8 o'clock. And what you've done when you do things like that is you've created two new habits, because now you have the wake up habit and the go to the gym habit. But instead, if you focus on one at a time, like just going to the gym or just waking up earlier, whichever one is more important for you, then you can just focus on doing that one thing consistently. And doing the two things don't have a potential for negative. Doing the two different things can't potentially negatively impact each other. Doing that way, when you mess up on doing one, it doesn't impact the other. If you decide I'm going to wake up at 5:30 and go to the gym, if you don't wake up at 5:30 that day, are you going to go to the gym after work? Because most people won't. Or if you decide I'm going to, that's a good example actually. So if you haven't been going to the gym, you want to start going to the gym, just go, put it in your regular routine. Go after work. You don't need to completely upend your whole life just to start a new habit. Now, after 30 days or so, you've been going to the gym in the afternoon and you realize, oh, I'm kind of like tired from work. When I get here, I really want to put myself first. Then set a goal to start waking up early so that you work out. Because that way, because that way you're not upending your whole life. Stick to the routines and structures that you already have. Insert your new habits into them. And then after you've got that new habit, like pretty much in place, if you need to move things around with your routines, do it then. It's so much easier that way. Creating a brand new routine on top of having a new habit just generally does not work. It's so much more difficult. So, you know, you're trying to change too much if you realize that it's creating a whole new routine. Like right now, it's the end of October 2025. So many people are working on like this epic winter arc, right? Trying to get ahead of New Year's resolutions, which I am so here for. Like in the year strong, girl, do it. But if 2026 is the year that we change our lives, we are going to do it in small, incremental steps that build upon each other until we are the next version of ourselves. We are not going to try to overhaul everything all at once. When I was in my 20s, at the beginning of the year, I used to use Zig Ziglar's wheel of, when I was in my early 20s, I used to use Zig Ziglar's Wheel of Life to set goals. It's a fantastic tool. If you are not familiar with Zig Ziglar, he is like the OG of personal development. Okay. He has amazing, timeless lessons. So in the Wheel of Life, there's 7 different areas of life, and I would set a goal in each of the areas and then take the goal and break it apart into more manageable chunks. And then I would attack the year with trying to change something in each of the 7 areas of my life. And I did this for a few years in my 20s and it fell flat. Every time after a few months, it was like just spinning my wheels in multiple areas. And maybe in 1 or 2 areas, I would have actually made some growth, some progress that I wanted to see. And so what I learned over time was that if I just focus on less with a lot of intention, I could actually make more progress than if I focused on 7 different things all at the same time. That's how I learned to not try to do so much at once. And that's also when I realized that creating whole new routines for things was not working for me. So, a new habit, insert it into an existing routine, and then after you've got the habit down, change your routine if you need to. This is the last thing. And I think that this is so underrated. People do not talk about it enough. We have to pause and reflect. And not the, oh, I'm constantly reflective. I'm a very reflective person. No, that's not what I mean, because I feel like I'm a reflective person. But it is something different to stop once a week and think about a goal that I set for a habit that I want to have or that I want to quit and think what went well, what didn't go well, and what am I going to do differently to take myself into the next week? Or how do I need to support myself to go into the next week and make continued progress? And pause and write it down. Whether you have external accountability or it's just you holding yourself accountable, writing down a little reflection for yourself makes a big difference because it creates the space to really think, oh, I have made some progress here. And to celebrate that and recognize that within yourself, which is so important for building self concept and building confidence. And if things don't go well, it's really important to allow yourself the space to figure out why and to figure out how you're going to shift things to keep it, to move things forward. And it's not, oh, I'm going to redecide because you already decided and you committed. It's going to be something else. So if you get to the end of the week and you say, okay, what didn't go well? And there's a few things on the list that didn't go well, you course correct. You might consider taking a smaller step than you initially thought. Or you might realize what a trigger is that's hindering the progress, stopping you from moving forward in the way that you want to, or stopping you from having the consistency that you want to have so that you can shift that or eliminate that trigger. So those are the 4 things. That's it. And done together, that is all you need to be consistent. Each of those four elements supports the others. So claim your new identity, fully decide what you're going to do and commit. Put your new action into your existing routine and pause and reflect regularly. If one of these four things is missing, it doesn't work. I want you to think about the times in your life where you've made change and been consistent. How do these four things fit in, or how do they show up in that change? If one of these things is missing, it won't work. If you don't fully commit, decide and fully commit, you'll just be spinning your wheels, deciding over and over, falling off, getting back on, changing your decisions about what it is that you want to do, what you want for yourself, and what that's going to look like. If you don't pause and reflect, you'll burn out while you're doing a great job on track with your goals, or you'll fall off track and not realize why. Or you'll fall off track and not realize why. Remember, consistency is the goal, not perfection. I hope this helped you to think through consistency today and what your goals are for the rest of the year. I'd be curious to know what you're working on for the rest of the year. I'd be curious to know what you're working on getting consistent with for the rest of the year. And if you keep finding yourself jumping from one wellness fad to the next, watch my video on how to stop chasing wellness. I love you. I hope you love you. I'll see you next week. Bye.